Good morning, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Welcome to Board Game Breakfast, which is normally on Mondays, but today is on Tuesday because we took yesterday off.
I think it's secretly Monday.
It doesn't feel like Monday.
Feels like
felt
Monday
like
to me.
Monday. Well, anyhow.
I keep thinking it's Monday. So you're wrong, 2-1. We've canceled daylight savings time. Today's Monday. Enjoy your long week.
Success.
This show is sponsored by Stupidity. But no, don't put Forbidden Games up right when I say that. All right, Forbidden Games. We have a contest for you here. That's Mosaic, and this is a gigantic box. You can see it
huge.
behind us here. That's because this is their, what's they called? The Premium Colossus Edition with 400 plus miniatures, metal coins, and resource tokens. Anyway, you can win a copy of this. All you have to do is email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the word Colossus. You have to answer a question. How many leader cards are included in Mosaic? I don't know the answer to
You
that.
didn't answer it. Good job.
This is my
No spoilers.
This was in my top 10 anticipated games for the year. I like Civilization type games, and so Glenn Drover did Raccoon Tycoon, which I liked a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one comes. It's in production right now, so you can get a copy soon. Enter the contest. What else is going on? Well, if you haven't been following Facebook, you wouldn't know that Roy's Last Light is launching today. That sounded weird saying that, Last Light today, but anyway.
Last light, last chance.
That's launching on GameFound.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So I don't know what time that's launching.
Noon. So
Noon.
3 hours from now.
All right. And lots of other things that I'll talk about this a little bit later on, too, but we did the Spring Spectacular last week. Really fun. Thank you for everyone who showed up. We'll be taking bits and pieces of that and posting them today. So in that regard, one of the things we're posting today will be the Dice Tower Award nominations. They've already been announced, but it now will be a separate video, and you can tell people, go out and spread the word, and we'll see what games win in our Summer Spectacular.
And then those videos will be chopped up and go up over the next few weeks. Here.
Yeah, like 3 weeks or so. You'll see a lot of those videos go up. So just keep an eye out for those if you missed it, or if you just want to watch that one specific thing. And then finally, good news for us. Bad news if you're a procrastinator, but the Dice Tower East convention has sold out. So
that's exciting.
here's the good news stuff for you, even if you're like, oh no. You want to get online, and you can email Sharon at dicetower.com, or you can go online and try to get on a waiting list. I'm actually not 100% sure. Sharon sent me the information. I should look this up. That there are people who will likely decide that they can't go for whatever reason, so you will be able to get a copy of it. A ticket, probably. Just get online now. If you have a ticket but you haven't got your hotels, the block is closing June 4th, so keep that in mind. But I mean, I'm kind of glad that it's sold out. Yada yada yada. There's going to be a wait list. Go to the Dice Tower East Facebook group, and we'll announce more at how the wait list will work. So hope you have a good time coming to that, because I'm looking forward to it. You know what else I'm looking forward to? A month without any events. So that is what we have now. We actually have almost 2 months, which we need because they have to work on their top 100 list of all
That
time.
starts up in just a few weeks, really.
Yeah, it's really
right.
Sneak up on us.
soon.
We never stop at the Dice Tower.
That's an event for us. And the rest of the A-team.
I'll be working on Dice Tower Library during that period. All right, anyhow, let's get started with the show with some contributors.
I'm Stella here from Maple University. This time I have my friend Henry. Thanks for joining me.
No worries, Stella.
Because Taryn is unfortunately in hospital at the moment for kidney stone, so it's not too bad. But I really want to talk about Hansa Teutonica today, the big box. Yes. We just play this, literally, live streaming this. And this is one of the games that you said you will probably bring to board game meetup or
board game
getaway
or something like that. If I had to pick like one game to take with me on like a holiday or escape, it'd probably be up there. One of my choices. I just think the replayability is wonderful. Time between turns, amazing. And it's just a game that it always feels like there's a lot more you could have done better.
Yeah.
A lot more strategies and a lot more things to master. things to explore.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay, next time you play, you wanna play this. You wanna try
Yeah.
this. Next time you wanna focus on this. This is a Euro game, by the way.
Yeah.
It's an engine building, route building game, which is really, really good with different.
So it's simple,
Yeah.
it's quick to teach, and it's just got a lot of depth. And it's just so simple and nice. Just great. Can't
Absolutely.
recommend it enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what is your game if you are to bring to board game getaway? What is, everyone at home? What is your one game that you will bring? So let us know in the comments. Oh, by the way, Terrence also here in spirit, in t-shirt form. And that's it. And hopefully we will see you next time. And thanks, Henry, for
Nice.
doing this with me. Bye.
Bye.
This is a board game in 2022. It's got all you need. Not afraid of competition. Kickstarter campaign, successfully funded in 25 seconds. $1 billion. You want miniatures? We got them. You want a board? We got them. Cars? Got them. Stretch goals? Got them. Not afraid of anything. Hey, wait. What is this tiny little thing? Oh my God. A small game that stands its ground against those big games for us, it's Rune Age by Fantasy Flight Game. A deck building with a couple of unique twists. The first one, players build their deck using private, unique factions and a common market. The second one includes multiple scenarios, especially with the expansion Oath and Anvil. It includes up until I think 7 scenarios: cooperative, competitive, the Overlord, the monument building one, competitive in which you only fight between players, another one in which all players fight against a common evil, but they want to win. Whew, juicy. Molly, how do you win Rune Age?
Sure. What you want to do is thin out your deck as fast as you can. So get the cards that help you, get rid of the base cards. That way you get juicier cards to play with. And second, in scenarios where you fight against monsters, get as many small units as you can.
Yeah, because there is a dice rolling component. The monsters roll a die and kill X number of units. So if you have main little ones, they kill those little ones, but you keep your combat strength.
Yes, but then in a scenario where you're fighting against another opponent, you want to get strong units.
Blood.
Few strong units.
Alrighty, thank you, Molly. Check it out. Rune Age, a little game that stands its ground against those big ones. Wahaha! Kickstarters, here we come. I don't know if I said that. Check it out.
All right, going back 20 years ago. We're taking a look at games from that time period. Today we're talking about Pirates Cove.
Pirates Cove.
Have you played
I don't
Pirates
know
Cove?
this
I've not. No, I don't actually know anything about this one.
one. Nope.
It's in the Dice Tower Library. Have you got to that shelf sorting it yet?
I've
The Days
not
of
gotten to
Wonder?
that shelf sorting it
You're
yet.
really close. I know you are because I was looking at that the other day. So Pirates Cove was printed by Days of Wonder. It was one of their first big box games. And I think today some people would find it to be too simple.
Okay.
Because essentially what it is there's a bunch of islands on the board, and you can do different things at the islands, and you have a little wheel, and you decide which one you go to. But if 2 people go to the same one, you fight, and then there's this big pirate ship, like with Blackbeard or whoever on it, going around, and if you go there, you have to fight them too. And then you have a ship in front of you, and you keep track of your sails and your cannons with these rings. And that's it. You're going around trying to get treasure, then you go to the middle island, bury the treasure, get you points.
What's the fight mechanism?
Something with dice? I don't remember, actually. It's been a long time since I played it.
You just fight.
But it's
Generically.
Well, I remember the main mechanism. Why can I not remember the fighting mechanism? Thanks. I told you to stay on script.
We are all consummate
Chaos.
professionals
That's
around
my
here.
job.
But the rings, and you get upgrades for your ship, like you get a parrot, which makes your ship better.
Yes. Fire the parrots through the cannons.
I like
No
the
animals
idea.
were harmed
I like the idea of
in this video.
outguessing other people as to where you go. The fighting, when your ship takes hits, you move your ring down, and your ship could sink, but then it comes back the next round. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but I wonder how well this would do today. Like, modern day pirate games are fairly complex. If you've seen Dead Reckoning and such, there's just a ton of things going on in them. Sometimes simplicity is better.
Is this one that you would pull off the shelf now?
Yes.
Say, oh, let's play it. Let's try
I would
it out.
actually, but mostly because of the fact that I love teaching people games they don't know.
Yeah.
That's something I just like doing.
And since
I
you don't know it anymore,
I would
then
learn it
you'll
in like
pull
a
it
minute.
off.
I just have to look a few things up on it.
I'm not one to judge here at all. I'm terrible at remembering details about games.
Anyway, Pirates Cove. You probably can find it at a reduced rate in places because Days of Wonder has games that have sold a ton. Ticket to Ride, Memoir, Shadows over Camelot, Small World. Those are their 4 big sellers. And then everything else you can get usually for a song. Oh, Five Tribes. Five Tribes is
The biggest one, yeah.
It's not the biggest one. Ticket to Ride is the biggest one.
Oh, sorry.
That makes sense, yeah.
Actually, it's Ticket to Ride, then Memoir. Memoir's done really well. And then I
Really?
think Shadows was very, very popular.
I haven't played Memoir.
I
or
don't know if
Shadows.
Five Tribes has surpassed that. But when I talked to them, they told me those were the 3 big ones.
Oh, okay.
And then Small World was catching up at the time, and then probably Five Tribes. But I know Ticket to Ride, none of the other games will pass that. That's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about Pirates Cove. Check it out.
The 17th bestseller from Days of Wonder.
Hi, this is Ambi from Board Game Blitz, and today I'm going to talk about one of my toddler's favorite games to play, Tidy Up. So in the game Tidy Up, you're helping Tip Top the cat clean up his room by collecting different tiles. So you pick one of the tiles, like this toy, which is a frog, and then you're putting it in this bookshelf, which is actually the box. You say, oh, this is the blocks, these are the cars, and these are the stuffed animal dolls, so this would go here. And then here's a block. You'll go up here. So then when you're done cleaning up all of the toys, then you finish the game and you won. You check to make sure that like you got all of the things in the right spots. And then the game is put away. That's awesome, isn't it? No cleanup required. So my kids really like putting the cardboard pieces into the slots, but usually they don't look at what the pieces are and put them in the right slots. They just put them in whatever slot they like putting it in. I have to tell them like, oh, is that a block? Is that a car? Is that a doll? And then they say what it is, and then they try to put it in somewhere else. I'm like, no, wait, let's try putting it where it should go. And I guess that's kind of how they put away their toys in real life too, because they just put it all in a big bin. So I guess it's thematic. But theoretically, if they got better at this, then maybe they would be better at putting away their toys in real life. The main problem I have with this game is that the components are kind of fragile. So they're made out of thick cardboard, which is okay, but like this bookshelf part is made out of cardboard pieces that go together, and this was a foldable cardboard thing. You can see it's been ripped many times and taped back together. This has also been ripped and glued back together, so with a lot of play it can get pretty damaged and torn apart, but it's still playable because it's really easy to fix. So if your toddlers like the toys where you put the little shapes like the circle, triangle, and the square in the different shaped holes, which my kids really loved those, then Tidy Up is a good step up from that and a good way to make a game out of it. Thanks for watching Board Game Blitz. Bye.
Assalamu alaikum. In Court Express, the default or base game, the Marshal is actually kind of a static character. Each player has a single card which lets the Marshal move left or right. That's why they came up with an expansion called Marshal and Prisoners, in which the Marshal can be controlled as a human player. Now that added more variety of cards that the Marshal can use to actually control the Marshal character, and the Marshal has different winning objectives than the other bandits. But if you always thought that it would be cool that all of the players still played as bandits against a more intelligent or more dynamic Marshal, then that can be done by getting the automatic Marshal file, which is available on BGG file section under Court Express for the Automa Marshal. Once you get that file, it will give you instruction that using the components from your Marshal expansion, how you can make it an automatic player. So nobody controls it, the game controls that. You will still reveal a card, it will tell you how the Marshal is going to move, it will give you a priority that if it has multiple targets, for example, then which target is the Marshal going to prefer to shoot and how the Marshal is still going to win. And in that way, the Marshal still becomes a more dynamic player or dynamic element in the game, while all the players still get to be on the same synchronous or footing of being a bandit themselves. So if that interests you, get the file from BGG file section. That's it for me. Happy gaming.
All right, so what's coming from today's Star this week? Well, we already mentioned we're going to be reposting a lot of stuff from the Spring Spectacular, but do not fear, this is not all recycled content. When we're done here, Z's playing Istanbul at 10 a.m. today.
Not Constantinople.
You know, I've worked to stop making that joke.
I will always make that joke. Every day.
It's the thing we've worked on is not singing the song.
Da, da, da,
No. I just said that we.
Well, he's working on it. He's working on training me not to sing the song.
You were pretty close to singing a Spider-Man theme song there. But anyhow.
What I heard was Speed Racer theme. Dun, dun, dun. Here comes Speed Racer. Let's talk about the.
That's a good
coming
thing.
From the Dice Tower.
Anyhow, Z's playing Istanbul on What's Happening. At noon, I'm doing a Q&A. There's a boring unboxing. Folks, there's 2 boring unboxings going up this week. And then my family and I are reviewing Uno Ultimate. Is it the Ultimate Uno? We'll find out.
Uno Marvel Ultimate, right?
That's true. Man, I remember those days when I was like, there's no Marvel games. Z's reviewing 10 Penny Park this week. Me and my family are, me and the kids are doing Role Player Adventures. We're finishing it up. We finished the game. We finished the game, I want to point out. And we're doing like the overview of the whole thing. Board Game Breakfast on Thursday is going up. And let's see, King of Tokyo Monster Box. We're taking a look at what's inside that. I'm reviewing the new Marvel Legendary set Messiah Complex. On my top 10 Thames and Cosmos small box games. And you know what? There's Game and Talk. That's one of the things from the Spring Spectacular, but I think it will work really well as their own videos. We did Game and Talk of Townsfolk Tussled. Both of those are going up this week. Millie Fury, the best Knizia game Mike Delisio has never played. Actually, that's a lie. He's not played many of the good ones. And other videos may be going up this week. There's a lot of stuff coming. There's like 5, 6, 7 videos each day. So you'll have plenty of things. There is no marbles today. Sorry, Marble fans. But they'll be back next Tuesday. So that's what's coming this week.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we are talking about the new version of Factory Funner. In this game, what you are doing is you are laying out tiles, trying to connect these different machines to these different input sources in order to get these outputs. So it's basically just an engine builder. You're trying to connect all these different pipes to make it all work together. And the less pipes you use, the more efficiently you can make your factory work, the more points you're going to get. This is a wild and crazy game when it's all spread out all over your board.
I do not try to be efficient in this game at all. I just like to go crazy at it. It's probably why I don't win. But I enjoyed that, right? I had a lot of fun playing Factory Funner. But no, for real, I was terrible at this game, but I had so much fun just like drafting the tiles and then trying to do weird stuff and just not being able to do stuff at all. And my spatial reasoning skills are like terrible. So I had a hard time trying to figure out where the pipe should go, but I really enjoyed that anyway.
One thing that was interesting, that as we were playing this, we noticed that Bethany was looking at all the different artwork on the tiles, and I was laser focused on the numbers. Okay, it needs 2 blue, 2 yellow, and it's gonna make 3 pink. Okay, math, you know, and then it's like, I was all
I'm like, there's flowers, there's little flowers in there.
I was completely glossed over the actual artwork and the graphic design. I was like looking at pipes, not looking at like the shape of, you know, the shape of them, not necessarily like the design of them or the detail in them, which is a shame because it actually looks really cool.
There was a lot of detail put into those little tiles.
But I was very laser focused on the product of it all.
Yeah, side note, the artwork was by Nigel Sussman. So
for
just
this particular
version.
Yeah,
for this version. So just a shout out there. But we had a lot of fun with this one. If you guys want to hear more from us, make sure to find us on Facebook or YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Well, everybody, this is Ryan and Bethany. Hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Welcome to Wendys Thinks. And I often get a bad rap, well, I guess sometimes get a bad rap, for complaining about randomness. I'm one of those people that I like control in games, and sometimes randomness gets in the way. Doesn't mean it's terrible, but it just does. Output randomness. And output randomness is basically you make a decision and then you see what happens. You roll some dice, you flip some cards. It's very common in fighting games where you've got dudes on a map and they're attacking each other.
Maybe like pirate, Cove-ish type games.
Ooh, like
but
pirate?
we'll never know.
We'll never know. That is the question. Where you have input randomness, where you have some cards reveal or some dice, whatever happens. The randomness happens before you make the decisions. And to me, this makes a great game. This is the type of randomness I enjoy because I get to make really good decisions based on information. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, first of all, input randomness only works on turn 1.
What do you mean?
Well, once you get to turn 2, you have made pre-decisions and hoping that maybe the thing you want gets revealed later on.
Sure, there's going to be some effect to that. But like, I think of like a roll and write game. Roll and write game, you roll dice, you make decisions, and sure, those decisions will affect the future. But each round, you get to make those decisions based on new information instead of saying,
I know what you mean.
Hey,
I'm being pedantic. I'm taking
pedantic
Chris's
away.
jobs. Here's
not
my
a
thing, though.
pedant.
I don't mind. I don't like a ton of randomness, but the thing I like about the output randomness is that I like that excitement. It's because you're making a choice based on odds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do this. There's an 80% chance it will work, and then you roll dice to see what happens. You don't like that.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. Now, I do have this sliding scale that the more output randomness or just the more random a game, the shorter I want it to be. So if I'm going to play
I agree on that.
If I'm going to play a longer game, I want more control. If I'm going to play something silly, fun, push your luck, whatever, I'm fine with all the light cheering stand-up moments of, hey, I rolled the dice and I failed, or hey, I rolled the dice and I crit succeeded. That's awesome.
I mean, or like we have a D&D campaign that's been going for 4.5 years, and that's...
Okay, that's not short.
Yeah. It's probably the longest running game that we have.
Way to disprove my theory on myself. I think story-based games are that exception to the rule for me.
I would actually argue that D&D is not completely random. It's random in what happens, but ultimately the DM controls it.
Oh, absolutely.
The DM can stop you from dying anytime they want by making whatever they need to make happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No DM's going to be like, well, you died, there was nothing I can do about it. Lies.
Then your party has to get together and go and resurrect your body, and yeah, you know.
Yeah.
There's always solutions, and that's the thing with story-driven games. I'm more invested in the story than I am in winning with mechanisms, and so I'm okay with the rolling of dice and all that jazz.
There's almost no game that has no luck. I mean, mostly just chess and things like that.
And I don't think a game would be fun if it was perfectly no luck. Like, I'm not a chess fan. So I do like some randomness. I just like I like control, and I like really good decisions.
Yeah, we don't play that many abstract games in general.
Yeah.
Would you like games that give you random victory points?
No, that frustrates me when it's not balanced.
Or like there's a deck of cards, like just say Catan, for example. You draw from the deck of cards in Catan. Some of them have victory points, some of them are most army or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's random. Forget the rest of Catan. I know that Catan's random in general.
Yeah, sure.
I'm talking about drawing from that deck, or when you go out and you get a tile, and that tile's worth 1, 2, or 3 points.
I think it depends on how balanced I feel like it is. There are games where I do something, I draw a tile, I get 3 points. Chris does the exact same thing, he draws a tile and gets 1 point. I'm not a fan of that. I feel like, why? Why does he get 1 point and I get 3? I won the game just because I
if it's
drew better.
that close, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny because you say that you don't like that, and then yet Jaipur is one of our favorite games that has that exact thing in it. I don't know. I guess it's
short.
Does it add to
game.
the excitement of the game? And yeah, Jaipur's a short enough game where at the end you say, oh, okay, we'll flip them. You know, what did we get? You know, but if it's anything longer than like a half hour, we tend to like that less. Mm-hmm. Oh, you got this bonus that was worth 7 points, and mine was worth 3. Okay. You played better than me, I guess. I don't know.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I think.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Now, this is going to be big for me to say. But I think I have to agree with Z Garcia when he says that the Cobble and Fog Unmatched box is absolutely phenomenal. And putting aside sort of the characters you're interested in, and, you know, yes, Sherlock Holmes and Dracula, and it's an awesome set of characters. You know, everyone's going to vibe with different characters slightly differently. What makes this game, this box, a bit better than the original, I've not played the Legends 2 box yet. Now, that is this map. The original, however, didn't have something as awesome as these hidden passages. You can effectively use them as ways to escape. You can get backed into a corner but slip out to the middle of the map or a completely different side. And it means that there's quite a different dynamic to the game compared to some of the others where you can sort of close someone in. Here, you're going to have to close them in probably in this top corner because the other corners have an escape route. Now, you can't attack as if they're adjacent, but these spaces for movement are all considered adjacent. That is just, it makes playing the game just have an extra little thing to think about. I really enjoy all of Unmatched, but this map is probably the one that I have tried to get to the table most just because I love the secret passages. And also, in the rulebook there's something interesting because they say large figures can't move along them. There are no large figures yet, but there's a T-Rex coming. And that is very hype. Anyway, until next time, have a great breakfast.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. So on your turn, you roll the dice. So if you roll the Avenger, it's very easy. You can look at any Avenger you want. Look at the bottom of them. If you were to roll an equipment, then you can look at any equipment that your character, any equipment on the board. Say I wanted to look at Hulkbuster, it tells me it's 4 o'clock. Then I would mark off Hulkbuster, and that only shows you that I've already looked at that. I would mark off 4 o'clock. So that tells me it's not, those things are not there. The other die roll is how many spots on the board you'll move. And when you move around the board, if you land on a blue space, nothing happens. If you land on a white space, then you can look at any Avenger on the board and see what's on the bottom and then mark it off your thing. If you land on a yellow spot down here, you can look at the equipment in the room. So once you feel like you have enough information and then you want to guess, you can try to guess. You don't have to correctly do it. But if you guess incorrectly, then you're out of the game. If you're correct, then you win the game. So the theme of the game is that Loki is pretending to be one of the Avengers, and he's stolen something at a particular time. And you got to put all of that kind of into using your deductive skills and logic to figure out who he is, when he did it, and what he did it with. And I think it works as you're going through and deducing, like, okay, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, and you're going around trying to solve this mystery. I don't know if it's the most Avenger thing, because a lot of that's beat 'em up and punching things through, but I feel like it really works as Loki is pretending to be somebody. You know, one of the big misses in this game is that Loki's a bad guy and Thor's not in it. Isn't that funny and weird? That was a weird choice for them to make. But otherwise, I feel like Clue Jr. works with this. You got Loki as the bad guy, masquerading as somebody else. You don't know who did it, and you're trying to figure out the aspects of the crime so you can put Loki away. I like this one. And this is a very good mass market children's game. One of our favorites. Clue Jr., don't sleep on this one.
And that's why I like killer bunnies. All right.
You've convinced me. Because the best single argument I've ever heard, ever.
All right. Well, today we're talking about a TV show called Severance. This is on Apple TV, and this is
about getting fired, getting severance pay.
Close, actually, but not quite. So
I know nothing about this.
Yeah, so this is a show that I watched the first episode, kind of like the idea sounded interesting, and then I binged the entire thing. This show is starring, directed by Ben Stiller, by the way, which is an odd. You would think it's a comedy, and it's not quite a comedy. It's farcical stuff happens in it, but it's not a comedy. So eventually, Adam Scott, the main character, and there's several other characters, they've undergone a process called severance. And he does it because his wife died. And it's not spoilers. They show you in the beginning of the episode. His wife has died, and he just wants to be able to work without thinking about that, without dragging him down. So the severance process cuts your mind into two pieces, essentially. So when he goes down the elevator to his job, he forgets everything outside of work.
Oh.
And when he's outside of work, he doesn't know anything that's happened at work. So he's essentially two different people. The problem is for the people at work, not particularly a great place to work, because you're like, and I'm checking out, it's 5, and I'm back in, it's 9. They're rested.
Yeah.
And things like if I got a bruise somewhere, like, oh, wonder how that happened.
But mentally, emotionally, they're not rested.
For the people outside, they think it's great because it's like, I don't have to worry about work. Yeah, work, I don't know what are they even doing? But so that's the basic premise, which is a comedy of sorts. But behind it, it's like very deep and dark and mysterious. The place they work in looks like it's from the 70s. There's long, long corridors. There's only 4 of them working in the office. One person disappeared. Where'd they go? There are other people in other sections, maybe. There's like a map to get to places. The people in charge of it do really weird things like, hey, you guys did a bonus, so we're going to have a melon party. And it's just a bunch of melons. And they're like super excited about that. And we're like, that's kind of not something to be excited about.
Is this a horror TV show?
Tom, will you throw us a melon party?
No.
I'm allergic to honeydew.
Oh, then
but all other melons are okay.
Well, the plot is basically this stuff starts bleeding over, and how nefarious is the company they're working at, and what goes on, and the finale is of season 1. I would not actually recommend this had they not done season 2.
Are they confirmed that they're doing
it? It is confirmed season 2. I would have been furious had they not, because it leaves on that strong of a cliffhanger. But it is the final episode. I was holding my breath almost the whole episode because I was like, what is going to happen? Really crazy stuff.
Man.
And it's very satisfying, but it has a lot of similarities to Lost. So there better be an answer. And they do answer a lot of things, but there's a lot of stuff that's not been answered. They better, or I'll be pretty annoyed about it. But all the characters are really good. Adam Scott does a really good job at, he's one way outside and he's another way inside. He's the same person. He's even the same, but he plays it slightly differently. Like inside they're naive. They're a little more like, what's going on? And things aren't making any sense.
Are you sure he's not secretly Moon Knight?
No, it has nothing to do with Moon Knight, although there are some similarities there to some degree. I like that. Christopher Walken's in it.
Oh, man. You're really selling me on this, and I hate that it's on Apple TV.
No, I don't disagree on that. Well, you probably could buy it on iTunes, I suppose.
How many episodes
Sounds really pricey.
9. So it's probably
$90.
$27. No, they charge like $3 an episode of things, I think.
$90.
$90.
That's more than a month of Apple TV.
Yeah, I know. You just get it. So I liked it because it was not. It fits that. There's like a moment where you're laughing and then you're like, wait a minute, that's really horrible. Like, I can't even tell you, but you find out that Severance may be used for other things, not just people going to work. Like you might want to cut something else bad out of your life. Like I'm going to the dentist, for example, and so I quickly sever that part. But that one, and then the moral implications, did I make somebody, their whole life was just them going to the dentist? That was their whole life. And that's the thing, is the person in there, are they a different character?
Is
this a legitimate, is it legitimate to do that to these people? Also, what is going on? Because there's really weird stuff in it. So
Man, I really want to watch this.
Okay.
If nothing else, for Christopher Walken.
Yes,
Sounds
yes,
great.
Christopher Walken.
This might happen.
He's not actually a main character, he's a secondary character, but when he's there, he's there. So it's interesting. So anyway, that is Severance.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm here to talk about a game that's great to play on a weeknight. This is a game that I learned on the Dice Tower Cruise, and I love it. This is called Scout. I got a copy of this from Oinka Games. The original one was, I believe, Korean, and the version in the Dice Tower library is different than this one. And Scout is kind of a card-shedding, almost ladder climbing style game in which you're going to have a hand of cards, but similar to a game like Bonanza, you cannot rearrange the cards in your hand. And you are going to be playing sets or runs of cards like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 2, 2, 2. You're playing those out onto the table, and the next person in line has to play a a bigger set, bigger run, higher set, higher run to beat whatever's on the table. But if they don't have a set, because you can't rearrange your cards, so whatever you have is kind of what you're stuck with, you can do Scout. You take a card from the table that was in the set that somebody else played, you add it somewhere in your hand, and all the cards are also double-sided, so you get to flip it and put it somewhere in your hand if you want. And so you're going to be doing these things, going around the table, either taking a card, putting it somewhere in your hand, or playing cards out, and you're going to be collecting points. If you do defeat or beat whatever on the table, you get to take those cards as points, and if somebody scouts from the set that you played down, you also get to take a point there. So you're collecting points, you're trying not to get negative points because you will lose points depending on the number of cards in your hand at the end of each round, and it just works really well. I really like it with kind of almost lower player counts because it does have a risk for the cards to get back around the table, which is one of the interesting parts of it. But I think ultimately Scout is a really clever little card game that is one that I'll probably be hanging on to for a while because I haven't had too many people not like it. I enjoy this one a lot and they enjoy it too. So that is Scout. Check it out if you're into little card games, want a filler game to add to your collection, and you probably have room for it because it literally fits in like a big pocket. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
All right, well, that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. We got more stuff coming your way, starting with Z at 10. I'll be back at noon, and then all kinds of stuff going up today. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys for joining me today. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Why they changed it, I can't say.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vassell and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.